Disclaimer: the following program features language not suitable for all audiences, and the expressed opinions found within this program are a reflection of those who feature on the PopCulture Effect podcast. Welcome to the PopCulture Effect. I'm Rockin Rob, and on this show, I bring my closest friends together to talk about all the news happening in our pop culture world around us.
Welcome everyone back to the PopCulture Effect. I'm Gemini here. Also,
You almost had it. It was so close.
Okay, welcome back to the PopCulture Effect. I'm Gemini here, and today we're going to be talking about some more things in the pop culture world. I can't speak. Today I'm here with some of my greatest friends. We have Blaze.
Oh shit, did that not pick me up? Hey!
No, it did not. We have Menace.
Hello.
And we have the bitch himself, Subset.
Actually, that's Bobbert. You future Bobbert. You're a bitch.
That's fair. My bad, Subset. Okay!
Future
Yeah,
Robert,
love
you're a
it.
bitch.
Hey.
Introduce me right, young lady.
Hey, don't call me that. I'm a goblin anyway. And yes, we are here with Subset.
Heyo.
So, today we have some interesting things to talk about. A lot of more dorky, nerdy shit.
Now, for this week, there are a few things I want to discuss. I know it's a little late for Halloween, but I want to talk about the Smile 2 movie. Now, this is the sequel to the original Smile movie, which came out in 2022. And in all honesty, this was a great sequel and a heartfelt progression of the story. Now, I say heartfelt, but there really is nothing heartfelt about this movie. It's full of tension, suspense, just a creepy, eerie feeling throughout the whole of the movie. Now, there were a couple parts that really just made me laugh, like all the moments when random characters would just stare at the main character, Sky Riley, and just smile, especially the assistant who walked by. That was really funny. But to get into the main story of this movie. Now, the Smile Demon would go from person to person ever since infecting the protagonist of the first movie. And in this movie, it's a really cool concept because the Smile Demon infects a pop star, which that just adds a whole other host of questions, like, can the Smile Demon be transferred through digital means? And honestly, I really enjoyed the movie as a whole and how Sky Riley interacted with the characters around her, how the movie interacted with her, and how we got to see her growth and her challenges and her struggles as she is a recovering drug addict. And I think they do a great job at kind of illustrating the helplessness that people suffering from addiction can suffer with. And I think it really exemplifies how difficult it is for certain people to live with mental disorders, with hallucinations like schizophrenia and bipolar disorder. And I just wholeheartedly thought it was a great representation of mental health in movies and how people just aren't able to hear what you're saying. They're not listening to the problems you're suffering from. Now, I'm not going to give much of this movie away, as I do want to incentivize those that haven't seen it to go watch it, but there are a few scenes that I just really, truly appreciated, like the bedroom chase scene, one of the first big twist reveals in the movie, which I won't spoil, and the second twist at the final end of the movie, and the final twist, which I actually was able to call right before it happened. But it was a really cool movie, and it really showed the escalation of what the Smile Demon is capable of, and seeing it on screen for the second time was really cool as well. Now, this movie was absolutely a great time to sit through, and I will warn you, for those of you that are going out to watch it yourselves, it's a really loud movie. It's insanely loud. It's really uncomfortable and kind of claustrophobic with the feeling it gives off. So definitely be prepared for that when you walk in to see it, or if you watch it at home. And yeah, I don't really know where the series is going to go from here. Like, we may see a Smile 3 where it just where it goes digital, you know, and where it infects the whole planet. But I would just love to see where this kind of goes. I would hope that there'd be a short series, maybe a streaming series that could go through smaller scale stories of people that are suffering after the end of Smile 2. But all in all, it was a great horror film. I really enjoyed it. I recommend you go check it out. And the first one that came out, I would say the first one was a little bit better than the second one, as it catches you off guard more because you're not aware of what's going on. Like in Smile 2, you know what you're getting into, just like kind of like the remake of Lion King into Lion King 2019. You kind of expect what is coming. However, the scares that you do see in this movie are really shocking, and they really take you out of your seat. There was a whole bunch of times where I was just really jumpy and on edge, but that's just kind of how I am as a person, so that may not translate to you as a viewer. Now, I definitely say that Smile 2 is a great sequel to the original, and that's pretty much everything I have to talk about for Smile 2. And yeah, I think now it is about time I send it back to my friends in their discussions on the Tomb Raider series.
Moving on from a video game remake game, Subset, what do you have to tell us about a video game TV show?
It was mid. That was all.
Oh, okay.
Everybody, ayo. But the TV show that I was actually talked about on another episode, it was the Tomb Raider show by Netflix that aired a little bit during this week. I think on a Wednesday or Thursday, and it's 8 episodes, and I was pleasantly entertained throughout this whole run. And let's just say this has been a good time, a really good time. I binge watched it, try to, get ready for this, but oh my god. I know it was only 8 episodes, I'm getting sick of 8 episodes, which it was longer, but I digress. Throughout its entirety of it, how it was going down, it slowly grew with the animation, because at first I wasn't like liking the animation, but it grew on me. Let's get to the timeline of this show. It's taking place, I don't know exactly, but it's taking place after the first game. So we'll see how they're dealing with, surviving that whole debacle on that island near Japan. If some people don't know, it is based on the series of games that they made for Lara Croft. Within the first 2 episodes, well, the first 3, I should say, really set home how the show was gonna go on. You can get a really good inkling of how the show was gonna go from the first episode, seeing how Laura is, let's just say Laura isn't doing good. Like at all.
Does this take place? Well, I mean, obviously it's not going to take place during any of the games, but like, is there kind of an idea of like timeline-wise of where this show takes place in cohesion with the games timelines, or is this its own separate thing, not canon to the games?
I did mention that it's taking place sometime after the first one, the incident that happened, them surviving the island, finding the sun goddess and whatnot.
Okay.
I don't know exactly how long it was, but as far as I could tell, it was just after they finally got back home and whatnot, which, funny enough, it was nice to see, because in the 3rd episode, I might be jumping a little bit here from the 1st and 3rd here, but 3rd episode, you kind of give a little inkling of their experience from not just with Laura, but with another character called Jonah, one of her crewmates that was with her during that event and stayed with her after that. Just watch out, because after surviving a big ass crash, after a big storm and a tsunami, you kind of bond with the people you're with after surviving for so long. One scene, they're going down a river, right? Both of them are on a boat, they're going down a river, and then dark clouds start to form, the waves are starting to move, and both of them knew exactly what was coming. And that's when they turn around, they see this big wave going at them. And it was interesting to see that both of them knew exactly what was going to happen due to what happened when they were on that one boat that they were on before they reached the island. Big storm, and then a big wave came out of nowhere to make them lose their ship, and they woke up on the beach on Staten Island. One thing that I was hoping to see throughout this whole show is a big character trait that was added towards Laura's personality and mindset after that, is her dealing with her own survivor's guilt. Specifically, she's hung up on, if you haven't played the game, come on, the game's been out for how many years? She's still going over the fact that Roth, her pseudo trainer / other father figure, died in front of her, protecting her on that island. So she's still reeling from that, along with the responsibility.
Wasn't there some whole secret organization that was using the island for something, and they
it was
on it?
Yeah, it was people who wanted to resurrect the sun goddess again, to bring the whole end of days, that standard motif. You know what I mean? But yeah,
evil people doing evil things.
yeah, evil people, cult-like stuff like that. You know how it is. You know how it is. But
Evil because video game plot demands there's a bad guy.
yes. I think if I remember, they were called Trinity. That's what they were called. They were called Trinity.
He's my favorite character in the Matrix.
Shut up. Shut up.
Dude, I hate when there's a quick side rant. There's this one customer that I see that always has to make a Matrix reference towards me, and he's so creepy and weird. I hate him. I can't stand him. He always makes a goddamn Matrix reference towards me.
I completely forgot. In all honesty.
Yeah, he's always just like, how's Neo doing or whatever, and I've never seen the Matrix, and I just looks at him like, great. Please buy your booze and get out of here. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Throughout this whole run, it's not just in the first couple episodes of where how some shows would do like, oh, they're dealing with this issue and it's done after maybe 2 to 3 episodes. No, it's something that she has to deal with for a good part of the show's run. You know, her trying to she's closed off and doesn't want to connect with people anymore, especially with the people. Yeah, the trauma is real. She doesn't want to connect with people again, specifically the people who were with her during that, and basically the only family she has left.
Yeah,
She believes she's a curse. She believes that if they follow her, they will just end up dying, which sets in stone with the villain that she is facing, who's technically like her because he's also a treasure hunter / trying to find all these artifacts and whatnot, similar to her father and Roth on how they've done things, which led this whole story is going down to a set of stones, right? Because there's always something bringing the end of days. At first she only thought it was 2, then she slowly found out it was 4 stones, each of which
I was gonna say don't reveal.
I'm revealing everything. Shut up. Spoilers.
Gosh.
I'm kidding.
Man's gonna reveal the big twist of the game.
Not really. None of this partakes to the games, which I have something else in mind I have to mention, but that's gonna be in the end.
Sorry. Man's gonna spoil the plot of the show. My bad.
That's just a subplot to the show, to be honest.
The real show is the drama we made along the way.
Get the fuck out of here.
But I enjoy how they were showing how Laura is dealing with it, how people around her is trying to help her, something that she doesn't really want. Specifically, how her relationships after the island happened. So far, 3 of them sticked around. Another one, which was a key person from the island in the first game, that didn't show. And I felt like that was a smart move because there's a lot of loaded things. I already seen enough edits on TikTok about the show that a lot of people are pointing at. If you know, you know. It really shows that, other than the standard trauma dumping, the relationship she has, the way they decided to do them going to place, when he could have done the standard, going to normal transport, walk around the streets and whatnot. Nah. Within the second episode,
isn't Laura rich as hell?
No, well, yeah, but she doesn't really.
Wait,
I would say this time around she doesn't really give a damn because fun fact,
usually though doesn't she have her own jet or something that she just
No, not really. She doesn't have her own jet.
Or she she's rich, just rent out a plane, buy a plane, something.
Yeah, she's rich, but especially what happened after the island, she isn't sure how she fits into the Croft name and the family name. Because one thing I will point out, because it will show you within the first episode, is that she has not been back to the mansion for a while. She's out there being away, doesn't want to stay there because it doesn't give her.
That answers my question. Okay.
There's a lot to unpack here. She's still figuring out what she wants to be. Does she want to be like her father? Or does she wants to, have her own position here, how she fit in the whole grand scheme of things?
Yeah. Understandable.
Hold up, I need to find my notes. Now, throughout, other than the story tidbits, how they made Laura act in this, I feel like it was very, very fitting on how she would have acted after the whole thing. Specifically, how she still uses her gear, right? She has this. This might be a little spoily, but it's similar to how she survived from the island. She still has her, ice pick, a little climbing axe. that she used back in the first game still. And she had a bow. She still rocks these 2 items, and she used these 2 items for the majority of her adventures throughout the show, which I found fascinating because she could have used anything else, but she decided to use the 2 things she basically grew accustomed after what happened and whatnot. Really dove into how you don't really need to let them tell you how she is holding up. And I feel like it wasn't that long since they escaped the island, but I could be wrong, seeing that she's still doing random shit, still doing whatever she wants, going on an adventure to find treasure.
She could have gone off and then just been like, yeah, no, I'm not going home. I'm going out.
Yeah. There's not a lot of things I could say without going to spoiler territory, because I know you guys probably want to take a look, give a watch, especially the people out there listening to us right now. Probably not painting a really good picture, but I guarantee you this 8-episode run will fill you enough of adventure and a sense of sometimes when you're going through a lot of shit, it's good to have people around you to help you out, specifically when you don't want it or when you really need it, even though you don't realize it yet. They didn't try to rush it. They didn't try to solve that whole relationship issue or the trauma part off rip. It works itself out slowly. It isn't the main issue, but it's there constantly as she's going out and these travels, talking to her friends and whatnot. And while dealing with a bit of an identity crisis when she's facing off with the current villain throughout the show, trying to figure out, like, is this the way she wants to do things, like her father and Roth, or is there not really any other way that she could be as an explorer, as a like treasure hunter, you know, all that.
So this is kind of like a coming into her own kind of story.
Yeah, basically, specifically after doing everything on the island, because the first game was supposed to be her origin.
Mm-hmm.
And this is basically setting up a bit more of the origin story for her, how she slowly came to be
after her origin story.
Basically, like she has to really settle all, because even she's still realizing what she had to do.
Well, yeah, because at least like at the start of the game, she was kind of like this ignorant kid. Is like, yeah, my dad and my uncle, air quotations, are great bounty hunt or great treasure hunters. I'm destined to be one. Like,
which she did. She had a few good exploration under her belt already until the island incident. Just but on the island it really sets home what Roth was trying to instill into her was.
This is
end of the day, you need to
dangerous.
Survive. Like, end of the day, you just have to survive. It's either you or the elements or other people who wants the same treasure and are willing to kill you for said treasure.
Yeah, like
that's something she needs to still struggle. That part she still struggles with is surviving and, you know, dealing with trying to survive. In that first game, that's what she had to do, even though she didn't have time to really think about it, talk about it. She just had to do it.
And this is kind of her having, like, coming back and finally having to deal with that.
And yeah, basically.
Basically.
Which I recommend, all of you. I do recommend, because especially how it may be short, and I will say this now, after finishing the last episode, I feel like there might be more coming up to us about this, so we can actually see a bit more of it, maybe leading up to like a timeline. Oh, this is what happens to her from the first and the second game, because Laura in the second and the first game are completely different. In the second game, she's a bit more seasoned, a bit more into what's going on, but she's still struggling with the whole motif of trying to survive and dealing with everything else, along with, you know, being constant savior of all the world, the bringer, stopping big chaotic messes going through the world.
And if this keeps going, it'll kind of like fill in those gaps for players that'll like feel like, oh, how did she go from
this to this? Which it doesn't really take a lot, because a lot of players can just fill it in, but it's really nice to see what she had to go through between the games, so we can actually see her personality shape, her backstory shape, her knowledge and everything else shape, so she can be, you know, what we know. the Tomb Raider, Lara Croft. And I'm wondering,
Sounds
would
a
they...
really good, like, I don't want to say setup, because that's what they did with the first game, but like, I don't know, like...
Well, I believe it's a bit more character development and world building for her and the people around her. It's also nice to see that other than these incidents, it's nice to see that she's also had to deal with minor, quote-unquote, minor adventures between these. So it really sets tone. Yeah, she, as a Croft, she gets into a lot, and I mean a lot of trouble and mess.
Yeah, and I do like how they're going with more of like humanizing her. She's not just cold Laura, I'm gonna get this treasure, pew pew, shoot the baddies.
I will say that she isn't cold, but she is a bit unpredictable, and which leads to me to the voice acting and the personality of the characters that's been shown.
When I say cold, I just meant like, you know, heartless Tomb Raider, you know, not saying anything, not really like, you know, like silent protag kind of character.
Which she could have been that way, as you know, the first couple episodes prelude, she could have become something like that, right? In my head, that would have been an interesting difference of how we know Laura now.
You're gonna get Tomb Raider what ifs next?
I don't know about that. It's gonna be a little bit too much what ifs. Most of the what ifs just leads to, yes, world ends.
Yes, she didn't dodge that trap.
Don't know. So I'm just wondering if, so far, they're just keeping with the timeline between giving you extra stories between the first and second game, at least in my eyes. I'm wondering if they will ever do more of another season showing what happens between the second and the third game.
Maybe. I kind of want them to just kind of run with it being heard, but like how you've been explaining it, and have it just lead up to where the series ends, where the second game starts.
Yeah, that would be actually pretty nice to fit certain shit in. Well, you know, it actually makes sense to some points if they do it right, and you can lead up to what's going on.
Senses going.
Yes. I play these games. I know this shit. Come on. But other than all that, the voice acting was really nice. I feel like it fit with the characters that's been shown. And when I was going down,
Did they not get the VAs from the game?
I couldn't find a definitive answer, but I believe they did, at least with Jonah and other supporting characters. Laura specifically, I need to double check, but I do know they did got a couple of VAs to redo their roles again.
Oh, okay.
Because at least to me, I felt like, it just ringed in my head, and like, oh, this is the same person. You sound the same. I don't hear a difference in their, you know, how they're talking and how they're, you know, voicing the characters. I don't feel a difference from the games and how they're appearing here, which really felt nice. It was a fun ride, a really fun ride. I wanted more. I'm upset that it ended already.
Well, hopefully you'll get more.
Oh, well, I hope I do, because again, what I saw in the last episode, you know, might get more. Because as one adventure ends, another one is just waiting for the horizon, especially when it comes to with a Croft.
Is that like an actual line they say?
Not an actual line they say. It's just something. It just happens with Croft.
Yeah.
One adventure leads to another, or they just tend to get into a mess that they just have to solve.
That's fair.
The only things I have to say, because I really don't want to expose too much, is I want them to at least make it feel more episodes. I just want them more episodes than just the standard 8, which, We just want more episodes so we can actually watch this shit, but you know.
Just want more episodes.
I just want more episodes, man.
My only gripe, not enough.
I think this is gonna be my gripe for a lot of shows, because now the new standard is 8 episodes. Yeah. Either more episodes or make the episodes longer. I know it's animation and whatnot, but come on, it's doable. Maybe a little extra time, but it's still doable. That's about it that I got. Other than, you know, exposing everything, because some people don't want spoilers.
And minor spoilers are fine, but like I don't want like.
All right, big spoilers now.
do your own section with Bobbert for that.
No, I'm not gonna do that. But everybody, especially the people who I'm talking to, watch it. You, and the people out there listening, watch it. Watch it right now.
I believe you were saying the same thing about Resident Evil before it finished.
Yes, I did. Shut up.
Now, before the end of this episode, there's one other thing I want to talk about, and that is the recent Indie Horror Game Showcase. There's a few games that I want to talk about, with the first one being By Sweet Carol, by Little Sewing Machine. This game and the graphics look pretty awe-inspiring, and the visuals look straight out of a Disney princess movie. It's a side-scrolling platform adventure horror game that honestly just looks like a ton of fun. The next game on the list is Please Insert Disc by Night Signal. This is an upcoming puzzle horror game that looks to take inspiration from the inside the computer type games like Inscription. Now this game looks really cool with an early 2000s aesthetic and even has a Tony Hawk inspired game called Hell Grinders involved. But all that's known about this game is that it'll be looking at navigating the underbelly of your game console and trying to fix it. And with the obvious creepypasta vibe being that you're essentially going to wake up something else while fixing it. Next up is Among Ashes by Ratcliffe Games. This is another game where you're switching between in the game world and the real world, quote unquote, with a very creepy vibe, and the art looks pretty distinct, and they look like they go in an interesting direction with it. Next up, we got OneWay.exe. Now, this game goes full force with the out-of-game experience, having a bunch of haunted websites with your whole computer essentially being possessed. But the graphics on this game look a lot more disturbing. Next up, we got Home Safety Hotline. This one looks really interesting as you are essentially a hotline operator helping individuals with their paranormal homely disturbances. This one looks to be my personal favorite of the bunch, with the whole vibe of it being really cool. Finally, before we get into the honorable mentions category, there's Paperhead. This is an upcoming first-person Doom-like shooter where the whole aesthetic is around paper and cardboard. But you're essentially delving into the secrets of the seemingly cheerful paper town, but as we all know, there's always a dark side to every cutesy concept, at least when it comes to horror games. Next up, we've got our honorable mentions category, as there were plenty of games I wanted to take time to discuss, but just didn't have the time to. First up, we've got Murky Divers, The Thing Remastered, Tom the Post Girl, Dreamed Away, Blood Typers, Paragnosia, and Blind Exposure. Now, these games also deserve your time and attention as they take some really interesting directions when it comes to how to create a horror game. Now, that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about when it came to the Indie Horror Showcase. Now, if you want to learn more about all the other games I talked about and all the other games that were presented in this Indie Horror Showcase, go check out Dread XP on YouTube as they have the full 1 hour, 39-minute live stream. But now, I think it's time for me to send it back to my friends to end this week's episode.
But yeah, that is it from us. If you are watching on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you are watching on CJSW, make sure to go and check out the other wonderful shows that we got over on there. And I believe that is it from us. So we will see you in the next one. Bye. Oh, actually, wait. I gotta go. Thank you, guys. I'm stupid.
Wow, just completely forgetting about us being here with you. Thanks a lot.
Dude, I haven't slept yet. My brain is fried.
Dude,
keep
we still got
this in, by the way.
D&D.
Yeah, exactly. But when do I ever sleep on D&D days? Okay, going back. If you are watching this on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're watching this on CJSW, make sure to go and check out all of the different shows we got on there. And I would like to thank the other people sitting in the call with me. Thank you, Blaze.
Anytime.
Thank you, Gemini.
A pleasure as always.
And thank you, Subset.
Heyo.
And we will see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Heyo.